telling them the good news. We're gonna let we're gonna start, but we're gonna let some people pop on. So first of all, this video is a video that and Daryl will be here shortly. We're definitely not excluding her. Dara doesn't love to be on camera as much as I don't. I mean, not that I love it, but
we have to force her to sit down.
Yeah, we have to kind of force her to sit down. She's catching Peanut, and so we have some really immaculate news. And then we have a lot of things that I want to touch on today, because I feel like from this point moving forward, we're implementing a lot of change. And I felt like Jess is somebody that's been here since September. This is really like Jess's dream job, and she loves it. And you know that things have been really pressed lately when two people who live for this both need like a mental health week. That's not okay. Like, this is not... And it starts within. Like, it starts with my facility. So I'm having to make a lot of changes behind the scenes that you guys are not gonna understand. The first thing is, obviously, we are gonna replace a staff member, and somebody didn't... First of all, let me just say, I greatly appreciate all of the text, calls, inbox messages on my personal Facebook. My husband has received inbox messages. Is Tara okay? First of all, as much as I really appreciate the fact that you love me enough to take your time to reach out separately and make sure I'm okay, I greatly appreciate that. But I just want you guys to know that it's super unnecessary. Like, it is unnecessary. And what I want moving forward is, and I think we will all speak on this, because even Jess said, you don't understand the stress of when Jess was wanting to take her mental health week. We weren't sure that Jess was going to come back, and that is something that was discussed before she left, was you love this job, but you are burnt out, so why don't you take time? And at the end of that time, you can decide if you want to come back. So I never told Jess, like, either you fucking do your job or you're fired. Like, It was not that. It was, listen, I love you as a human. You do what you need to do. But Jess said the hardest part is that when you do decide to not work here, there are a lot of people in your business. And for people like Jess and myself who do have anxiety and do have other things, that's not a compliment. That's not... I know that you guys feel like you're loving us, but that's not a compliment. It's like more people, more eyes, more people that we feel like we need to justify. We need to explain. Jess doesn't have to explain. The day that this is not suitable for Jess, she doesn't owe me an explanation. And the reason is because the only time I have ever attacked somebody who left here was if they have stole or if they did not take care of the animals, because those things are not acceptable to me, and I will put you on blast if you abuse my animals, if you do not feed the animals, if you have done something to an innocent animal. You deserve for people to know why you're no longer here. And there is a difference between this is a lot of work and I'm burnt out and I just need, and like, hey, this person no longer works here because I caught XYZ and you guys are going to want to know. And I also think that in my maturity over the last year, I feel like the person I was when I stepped on this place a year ago and today are not the same person, is I also no longer take that personal. Like, man, I will tell you, 6 months ago, I had staff and I completely restaffed and it gutted me. Like, I felt like everything inside of me had just been mashed on the table because I loved those people. I had done everything for them. I also was coming off of a hospital stay, and I came home, contacted the feed store, and nobody had even bothered to go pick up feed. Like, you cannot tell me that you fed my animals while I was in the hospital when the feed store said nobody had been to pick up feed in over 2 weeks. Like, just not
money was being sent for it.
But the money, and there's proof the money was sent for it. I mean, so those kind of things are gutting. Now, the reason I made it so public was because I was forced to. I feel also like when staff no longer work here and they leave, I don't have to make it public unless they have made... Sometimes when people leave here, though, it's like ripping off. Like, when that staff was released from their responsibility here, I don't think that they saw it coming. And so their reaction was to bash me, which means I had to say, wait a minute, you can't bash me because that's not what happened. Like, I have proof that nobody bought feed the entire time we were in the hospital, but I can show you where I sent you money on Cash App for it. And so and then at that point, anybody that honestly will sit back and be like, I side with the person that never bought feed is not somebody I want in my tribe. Like, you need to excuse yourself from our presence.
Yeah, or just threw it all on the floor. I remember those days.
Yeah, Jess worked
just
here.
Like, what?
Jess worked here and quit because of that group of staff. She couldn't go home at night and feel good about the quality of care the horses received here at those people's hands, and she will tell you I wasn't present for that. Yeah. So it's not fair either, because I take the blame. I'm always the one that takes the blame. It's my facility. Problem is, I was in the hospital dying from COVID, so if you want to blame me for things that went on when I wasn't here,
yeah,
go ahead. I'm not going to stop you at this point. But as far as staff members go, I think that I speak for my current staff. And Dara and I have had this conversation. Jess and I have had this conversation. Let's pick favorite horses, not favorite people.
Yeah, it makes it awkward.
It makes it awkward. And the staff that I have currently doesn't really like the attention. Jess is being super glued here. She would like to run. Dara is like, I have to go catch horses. As soon as I was like, come on, we're going live, she ran.
So, you know what? There's the woods over there. I need
yeah.
to take a shit in them right
now. Yeah. And Dylan is working fame. So we just have a lot going on. We are, first and foremost, I'm going to rip this Band-Aid off. We'll do something bad and something good.
Yeah.
We are going to do different for Vet Day. We are no longer going to accommodate Vet Day at my facility. If you purchase a horse here and there's an emergency, we have reached out to a clinic in Terrell that has a 24-hour emergency service. Dylan is going to stay on standby for my customers if they need to be shuttled. Dara has a truck and trailer if they need to be shuttled. My goal is, from the moment that a horse finds a home, is let's get them out of here as soon as possible. I'm going to speak with Dylan. I think that what we may be able to do is offer a shuttle 1 day a week or 1 day every other week, where you can pay just a fee. Right now, a Coggins and health certificate are $150 at the current veterinarian. For $150, you can pay a trip charge and get a Coggins and a health certificate. And that's fair. I mean, the reason that it was being charged that way is because they're having to come out here, set up, be here all day. But a couple things I want to touch on is that I sent a text message out. I forgot my other phone, but it read something like, it's just become to the point that I feel very disrespected. One, I have veterinary trash strode all over my property where the vet unfortunately threw all the trash down out of their vehicle just outside, and then when they left, I can show you, we showed it yesterday. There's just it's gloves, needles, syringes. I have a child. Dylan's daughter comes. So aside from that, we cater Vet Day. Basically what we ask is that every customer who has a horse on the vet list that week pitch into a fund, because we're here from, the girls and the vet are here from they start at 6:30. The vet gets here
like 9.
It used to be 7, and it's, in the winter it's turned into 9 because it's cold. All right. You can put her on the walker.
Huh?
Yeah, it's P-Nizzle. Walker. Dylan, I think is gonna, we're gonna go to the sorting, and he's gonna ride her and try her. All right, you ready? Come on, we're live. I know, I told him that you would run for your life. So, I think that in this situation, the text message that I sent was not that it wasn't well received. It just, come on. I know. I'm telling y'all that there are some people that work here that I can't keep off camera, that they really desperately want y'all's attention, and that's a trauma response. That is a wanting to be liked thing. That's a wanting to have friends thing, right? Yeah. And then these two are anti and would like for you to just hear their name and never see their face.
Our friends are horses.
Yeah, they don't.
Well, it's not I don't want them to see my face, but at least let me be on the back of a horse. That
Get
way I
over
can head
here.
either way.
Yeah. So I will say though that both of these people are genuinely here to just work. Like they just don't really like the attention's not necessary. If this was something that we never did a video, they would stay. Now, they're not asking you to help them in any way. They're not, I mean, they just genuinely love the horses, and I have started interviewing for 2 more plate people. I think Dylan is gonna kind of take one of those spots. He has a daughter, and I am really begging him. I am like, Dylan, why don't you buy the land across the street? Dylan, why don't you move here? Dylan, I literally cannot help but cross the boundary of work into friendship. I'm never gonna learn that lesson. I'm a piece of shit that way. Like, I am an idiot. I can be like, I can like burn myself, and I'm like, the next time I'm like, the oven's been off 2 minutes now. It might not be hot. Like,
But
let me burn my hand over and over, and I'm gonna burn and burn and burn. And I'm like, I don't learn.
But
Let me
here's-
touch it this time with a sock on. Now I've like burned material into my skin. I don't learn. So I don't learn. These are my friends. These are my friends.
But we spend 15 hours a day together.
Yeah.
These are my friends.
Do you want to spend
That's my
15 hours
friend.
with a clammed up employee?
No,
or
I
a
had enough
crappy
of
boss?
it. I'm telling you that there was. So here's the next thing. One thing that we can't have is animosity amongst each other. And one thing I can tell you is when Jess needed a mental health week, there was no animosity here. There was a little animosity elsewhere. I woke up to text messages that were an attack, in my opinion. I don't want to pick sides. I don't want to take sides. I'm not doing that. You're not going to attack each other. We're not going to fight. And I will say this, and it'll be the last time I speak on it, and I appreciate all the concern, but I want for everyone to know that as far as Elizabeth goes, nobody here can say that she did anything to the horses except for love them, care for them, and go beyond for the animals on this property.
No.
And that honestly should be the only thing,
That
unfortunate,
anybody's worried about.
that you guys are worried about. The behind the scenes of treatment amongst each other and some other issues, it's nobody's business. And we're not going to put it out there. It becomes a whole new dynamic when people live on a property together. Dara is at a different place in her life, and she has a now 16-year-old son. Are you 16 finally?
Yes. When did you turn 16?
November 29th.
November when they weren't here.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I was like,
he's
did
16,
we miss this?
and you know, it's hard. It's hard when you have young single girls and they want to have guys over, and you have a mom with a kid. There's just so much dynamic behind the scenes. Period. End of discussion. I feel that in my soul. Like, there's just, what you guys should be concerned about is, what about the horses? Elizabeth was fantastic, loved the horses, did her job. I have nothing bad to say, and everything else that happened is unfortunate. It just
none
sucks.
of nobody's business.
And it's not anybody's business. Like, that's the thing, is it didn't involve the horses or this property. It was a whole other, and it's fine. I hope that makes sense. That at the end of the day, my beef with prior staff were because of the quality of care my horses were receiving behind my back. When I pulled up here yesterday, I can tell you that there's turmoil in the soul of my staff and myself when my property looks like this. You don't pull up to a property with people who do love you and respect you and it look like this when there's not a lot else going on. So we had to sit down and have that talk. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to continue with the full staff we had. But it's not that there's not love there. Lots of love. So let's just leave it at that, right? And then let's address the vet issue. We are completely revamping Vet Day. I'm not going to have vet trash all over my property. My current customers, some of the complaints that we have been receiving are super just first-time horse owners. That vet has done an amazing job as far as being consistent and doing the most for the horses. So the complaints that we had were very minimal and few and far between, and it didn't have anything to do with the quality of care that the horses were receiving. The vet did a wonderful job. He is a wonderful performance horse vet. There's been a lot go on in his personal life. I feel like that takes a toll on somebody, there has been a little bit of a I don't like the way that my staff has been treated recently by his staff. And I finally just put it all in a text. And at the end of the day, it just wasn't working. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want my staff bossed around and ordered around from 9 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, to the point that they still have to water, hay, feed. Nothing here has been done. And it just didn't work. It just didn't work. But it's not the veterinarian himself. So I want anybody to know that, like, he is a great veterinarian. And I will say the text message I sent was long, and it was probably very to the point. And so the response is, well, obviously this isn't working, so we probably will not continue vet service there if this is it. And I feel like that was just so okay. I just said, okay, thank you. Like, it wasn't like I said, oh, you're kidding me. I said, okay, thank you, because the list of things that I sent in that text message were so heartfelt from me that I think they realized too that door was shutting. Like, it's a very mutual thing. Like, the biggest thing I know is that they want to do performance horses. So when you look at an 18-year-old trail horse, you don't see the value in that horse like you do an $80,000 performance horse. And that is also often reflected. And that might just be me judging from the outside. I can't actually speak for them. Does that make sense? I can't speak. I just know that my demographic and their average demographic are very different of customers. But that veterinarian is a fantastic veterinarian.
And I will say this. I don't know what... I mean, the only problem I have is that trash I'm going to have to pick up. That's the only thing.
But we've catered lunch for months.
Right.
And I feel like that vet and his staff make enough money that they could have contributed to the lunch funds, or at least picked the trash up. The trash thing is not new. This is just everywhere. But nobody's ever picked up any of the food in the office. Nobody said thank you. Like, let's start there. I mean, so I don't really know. I just feel like there also becomes a time to where you let something go until you feel this disrespected, and you let it all out there. And sometimes the person's response isn't, I'm sorry that you feel that way. It's, well, if you feel that way, then find a different vet. Okay. If I feel this way, I need to find a different vet. And that's okay. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Like, it is not an attack on the services. I have a lot of customers though that really have said that a lot of my customers would really prefer to get their horses home and let their veterinarian do it, because they feel like they could save quite a bit of money. I don't know. I mean, so they can't leave here without a Coggins and a health sheet. So we're going to have to, and that vet didn't want to use cell barn Coggins because he didn't draw them. So he can't guarantee it's the same animal. Like, at the end of the day, I am grateful for 1 year of great veterinary service by a wonderful vet, but it had just become to a year. And I think what happens is, over time, boundaries get crossed, boundaries get crossed, boundaries get crossed, boundaries get crossed, and you get over here, and the boundary needed to be over here, and you've just let it go too far. Yeah. I did it with Elizabeth. I did it with the vet, and I'm taking responsibility. That by the time that I'm like, look, this is a problem, it is so far that you can't go from here back to here. And that's okay, but it's my fault. I'm taking responsibility. Right? I mean, I don't mean for it to be like that. I don't mean for it to go this far. I just also want to be passive and not ever be unappreciative and not tell. I hope that just makes sense to you guys. I allow it to get to the point that when something is finally said, it's not a easy thing.
Hey!
Oh, shit!
Hey!
What?
How is we just watching? Well, I'm just very
Why was that a thing?
Yeah, I don't don't know. I'm very confused with what just happened. But I found a pretty rock.
I found a pretty rock.
I think it's bad luck.
Well, I would have,
I just did front flip.
you did
I bet that felt very different than the trampoline.
Softer than I thought it was gonna be.
It was what?
It's softer than I thought it was gonna be.
You're
Well,
young.
that's good at least.
He was trying to grab the stirrup, and Fame
I get it.
was not about it.
Nope.
I just don't know how that happened.
I don't know. I don't know.
What
He
led
was
to
up there.
that? Yeah, like
He was up there.
how did we miss everything leading up to that?
Oh God. I need. Yeah.
God damn it. Elizabeth's gone. We're not supposed to look over and see people hopping on shit anymore.
Oh God. Listen, that's not the one, Lane. I need somebody to pray for my soul right now. It died.
Holy shit. No, I feel like it's probably still somewhere up there.
I think that you went 2 stories high.
I think I did too.
I just saw Lane. I saw Lane's feet.
That's, I don't know what I was running for. Like I could cushion him.
You
Your
were
head
gonna
is
catch
definitely
him?
heavier than your feet.
Dara goes running like she's gonna catch him midair.
I am
When
a mama.
when
I am a
tell you,
mama.
He was 2 stories in the air. It's not an exaggeration.
Arms and head down, just going for
I
the
just
ground.
wanted to tell him, don't catch yourself. You're gonna break a wrist.
We're gonna need the screenshots from that. Go back and watch when
Oh,
we
did
all
somebody
caught what was
record it?
happening.
Did somebody record
Oh no, on this, our faces when we all
Oh.
looked over and realized, oh shit.
You have dirt everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you're a real cowboy now.
You're a real cowboy now.
He was before that.
I think you have to stick it before we call you a real cowboy. You want to try again?
I don't think I could have stuck that.
No.
Come on now.
Let's see.
Stick shit yesterday.
He didn't-
No.
Did the white horse buck you off?
Yeah, I came off.
I thought that you stuck him.
No.
He stuck the landing.
You stuck the landing.
Only thing he stuck was his feet on the ground.
Mm.
Impeccable.
Hey, I've had a lot.
Your ribs okay?
Yeah.
You just got your face in your arms.
Yeah. Yeah, the
When you
ground
hit the
really
ground-
caught your face.
Oh my God, it was so fucking fast.
Hell yeah, I would have too.
I was looking down at the ground and I was like, maybe if I put my hand up.
No, don't. And never catch yourself with your wrist. You break them. I'm telling you, he
Tuck
was
in.
2
Tuck
stories.
in.
He was 2 stories high. He was above my
Poor
barn high.
Lane.
And then, and it happened in slow motion.
It just got tucked. Imagine if we would have been there to get the picture, just laying up in the sky,
I know,
all
right?
blue.
Look at him now. He's confused. He's like, what? Like,
Are we doing this again? I thought I showed you
I
guys.
thought I showed you. Fame does that little move to where when you swing over him, he'll go straight up and then curve back. Yeah, he's breathing all right. He didn't die. You needed to be a girl mom.
No.
Yeah, you did.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, you did. You know what a boy mom is supposed to say? Get your fucking ass off that ground and get your ass back on that horse.
When you've spent as many days
what
in the
my mom
hospital as
said.
I
That's what my
have
mom
with
and
this
dad
one,
said.
that is so not what you say.
That's what my mom and dad always said. Get
When the
your
horse
fucking
literally
ass off
came
the ground.
backwards on me, I'm sitting here crying like I'm never getting on again. She told me I'm gonna duct tape you up there if you don't get on your own. I was like,
Hartman, when the German man, that he would tell me, "Are you hurt?" No. Then why are you still on the ground?
I would always be like, I am hurt, Mom, because that's always like the first thing, of course. And she's like, no, you're not.
You're
No,
not
you're not.
hurt.
Yes, I
I think I have like an arrhythmia now. Like my heart is no longer.
My heart is still just.
We all probably lost a few pounds from that. That was like good exercise internal, right?
I didn't
I
have
think
a
I-
few pounds to lose.
I think I have gained a couple pounds because now I need to go emotionally eat. What are you talking about?
Where are we doing that for lunch?
Yeah.
Oh God.
fuck that shit.
I mean, my emotional eating consists of a cup of food, so.
Do some emotional eating at the mall candy shop.
Yeah. I need the Miss Fields tin out of the office. I fucking
We
need to
just
soothe
walk
my
in there
pain.
and put our mouths on.
I just didn't know what, I mean,
pixie
my
dust
brain
machines.
couldn't even, come on brain, think of things. My brain was just silent. There was no voice in my head in that moment.
It really was slow motion though. Like, Lane, we just watched you fly through the air. Like, you should just go skydiving now.
What possessed you to get on Fame?
Yeah, how did that happen?
Dylan asked me if I would like swing my leg over.
Dylan?
So I
Dylan! It's
did,
your
like,
fault!
2 times, and he's like, all right,
Were
come-
you test piloting the child?
What?
Like what? I asked him, what on earth possessed you to ask to go get on Fame? And he was like, oh no, Dylan asked me to do that. He asked you to die? Like, are we trying to unalive? Like,
No. I knew I could shut him down, but I thought he was gonna hold on to him.
you knew you could shut him down. Have you not messed with Fame? This is not your first day with him.
Look at his smile.
Look at
trying to get some
Fame. He's doing the
entertainment.
tail swish, and he's so proud.
He's a douchebag.
He's so proud. He's like, I
That was
got
fun
him off.
stuff, guys. That was fun stuff.
That was just to do it again. Look at him. He's like, so you coming
Who's
back?
next?
Yeah. And the thing is he's
you're
not,
next.
Like, the problem with him is he's not a stupid bronc. He's just so athletic that it's fast. You can't shut down fucking speed. He's got like speed feet.
I know.
The Tasmanian
Like, I remember,
devil.
like,
He's there and then he's gone. He's like Jackie Chan. Wah, wah, wah. And you're like, it was fast. It was
Yeah,
fast.
we're literally just talking, and then we look and just
Just
Lane's in
lame.
the air.
Lame.
It looked graceful. You were flying.
I
through the
will
air.
tell you, as of the point that his feet were over his head, the slow motion stopped and it just went, whew.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Your head's definitely heavier than your feet.
had hang time before
He did. He went up, turned, and then it was, whew. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. When I tell y'all not to send gifts, I didn't mean food. You can still
We'll
send.
clarify this every day.
Well, we want to clarify that we still accept all
These are
perishable
like
edible items.
gasoline for humans.
Please, no more pot cookies. I'm scarred for life from that. Oh God, go on with that shit. Get away from me.
what happened?
Your mom is a idiot. Don't. Gross ass. She's popping her blood blister.
Oh,
Nah.
I gotta be able to work the rest of the day for you.
Could have done that a different day, a different moment. Yeah. These are so good.
I know.
You want to trade me one of these for one of those?
I'll give you one of these, but I don't want one of this.
Why not? He is in a barn.
Fawn.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't want him to drown.
He's not gonna drown.
Listen,
They won't
Brandon,
bite.
Jackie Chan.
Brandon rode him a bunch. I mean, I don't know. He never bucked with Brandon, ever.
He just fucked.
No, it's like when you first get up there. He did that every time. Like when you go to get on him, that first step, once you're up there, is reactive. And if you just get his head, then you can just go on with him. It happened every time. I've got a million videos. So I don't know because he didn't, I mean, if you want to take him home, I'm going to let you, but I watched Brandon.
Yeah, well, he needs to get over that shit in the first beginning.
That
thing
filly
is-
down there, that's what I did to her, was walked her off in the pond and then stepped up on her.
Yeah, because I mean, if they do blow up, nobody's gonna get hurt.
Right. Well, they can't get the
Well,
momentum.
what if you come off in
That's
the water
not
and he
true. Don't
steps
say that.
on
I have a
you?
customer that's watching, and she lost both her sons recently to that. It's not funny. It's really not a joke. Her son, his horse reared up and went to break in half in the pond, and his foot hung up, and the horse flipped over on top of him and got his legs in the reins, and her other son jumped in the pond to cut him loose and cut the reins loose, and the horse tangled him up and drowned both of her sons in the pond. That's not a joke.
Oh,
It
my
just
friend
Was
happened.
that in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
That was
friend
up there
got
not
bucked
far
off
from
on the
where I'm
beach,
from.
And the horse stepped on her and pushed her down under the waves.
It really happened, and it just happened. Killed both of them.
Recently.
So I'm out on the pond deal. I mean, you can do it. I'm just not going to be there, and I'm sure as fuck not diving in after you.
I'll be there to record.
Fuck no.
But if anything happens,
I'm out on the water.
it's a 50-50 if I'm getting in the water too or not.
So how I usually do it. So I
I will take a lot of
Wait,
bullshit,
wait,
but I'm out
we'll
on the
put
water.
floaties on you. The little ones on your arms.
Around his
Yes. yes.
neck. Dylan, what are you doing?
We're gonna hit the water and we just stuck.
Get him one of those vests the Avengers vest when they fall off in the vest.
Did you really just lick my cookie?
That's his cookie.
Oh no, one of the ones you pull the string that blows up all
Yes,
quick.
did you see Bear's face? Bear walked over, licked Dara's cookie, and then just put his mouth on it and backed up and walked off.
He claimed it.
He claimed it. That's when you know that my dog, like, at this point just thinks that he owns us. He literally walked up, like, Dara has her cookie like this, and he walks up and he, like, licks the end of the cookie. And Dara looked at him and, like, didn't get mad, so he just was like, this.
Okay, this is happening.
This is happening. And then just give me
Look at him. He's like, oh, you have another.
Of course,
for me?
I've shared everything with him for the last 3 days.
We'll just do this on camera so you guys can see how this goes. Oh, here comes Skeet.
Skeet just snatches and runs.
Bear knows he can't take
Watch
from
your
me. Look.
fingers with her.
Bear knows he can't take from me. Look, did you notice he didn't even try it with me? He was like, my mom will smack my nose.
Better, huh?
I do love you. All right, you ready to get back up there? What video this time?
He's like, no, thank you for 200, Alex.
That's a no.
Lane, you gotta tell Dylan now. You switch. You'll hold him.
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
gets
I'll hold him.
Yeah, now we'll hold him. We'll all hold him and you get on.
on. Wait, I'll
I'm
record.
out.
Someone has to record. I call recording.
Let me get the unicorn horn real quick. Get on Dylan. He's up there. He's got a little horn on. Dang it. Bear, leave Dara alone. Stop stealing from her. My dog has zero. He's like, Dara will not get mad. Jess and Dara have no boundaries with animals, and I'm telling you that I can always tell. My dog, I like held the cookie, and he was like, I'm not taking it from you. You will bop my snoot. Skeeter, how do you?
Phone.
God. He said, my mom will bop my snoot. Oh, okay, the good news. Okay, tell them, first of all, we had suspected this entire time that, well, in the beginning, Jess accused somebody of hauling Charlie off. And there was a giant blow-up fight about it. And then finally it came out in the wash that the neighbors shot him because they did say that he had been in their chickens. I personally had spoke with them about that. But they never said they were going to shoot him. But then whenever I was told, well, the neighbors shot him and I didn't want to hurt Jess's feelings. Okay. All inaccurate. Charlie's been found 36 miles away where he was dumped out in Rusk.
And they found him the day after he went missing.
Yeah, and he was dumped out like in the middle of nowhere.
In a cow field.
In a cow field. So Charlie was found and they were going to bring him back this morning, but Jess, when you put this address in the phone, sometimes it sends you to Jacksonville. So Jess finally just said in her heart she knew better. She knew the neighbors didn't shoot him because they would have at least had the decency to come tell us. And I believe that because they came over and said, like,
good neighbors.
They're good neighbors. And they said, hey, the hound dog, the Merle, has been in the chickens. But when we went out and screamed at him, he backs off. So he had never killed anything. He was just rummaging in the coops. They hollered at him. He ran off. So fast forward, Jess knew in her heart that that's not what happened. She said, there's no way. I know that the dog was dumped. I believe the dog was dumped. So she got in all of the local groups and started posting his photographs. And in one of the groups, it was, hey, I found this dog, or there was already a post that I found this dog on the side of the road in Rusk, Texas, on such date. The date was literally the morning after he went missing. So, like, he was here, then he disappeared, and it was on a day that person had a appointment.
Yeah.
They had an appointment, so they were off that afternoon, and the following morning, the dog was found in Rusk. So it's a big deal. It's not okay by me. It's not okay by these two. So we found Charlie. He will be coming back today. He will be living here because he is now our dog. I guess if, as of the point that you are looking for a stray to bring back home, he has a home. So Charlie will be back this evening, and I have an appointment for him and Skeeter next week to go. He's going to be neutered, and Skeeter's going to be spayed. So she'll be out of heat long enough that we can spay her, and Charlie needs to be neutered, and his age is not an issue. So we're not neutering him to keep him here. We're neutering him because we don't want other dogs coming up. We don't know, another stray might show up, and we just don't need, we don't need any more procreation of strays. That's just not...
We keep horses, not dogs.
Yeah. So, Charlie is good with Bear. Charlie is fantastic with my child. Charlie is amazing to anybody that comes through the gate. I figured out the trash situation. I called the trash company. Did we ever see them today?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We'll both be running for him when we do.
Yeah. So we had bad weather, but the week before the bad weather, come to find out, the blue heeler that was here, that doesn't belong to any of us, attacked the trash man. So now we have the trash situation. I didn't know that though. The trash, when I called, she said, well, your account has been flagged. And I said, for what? And she said, unfortunately, the drivers are unable to pick up the trash at that facility due to a dog bite. And there was a description of the dog, and said that the owner of the property came out and retrieved the dog after the attack and put the dog in the house, but the owner of the property doesn't live in the house. And anyway, that dog is gone, and that is not a problem anymore. So hopefully the trash service can commence to being picked up. What I'm upset about is that all this time I didn't know, nobody had said like, hey, by the way, we had an incident. So it was never reiterated to me that there was an incident with the trash, that I needed to make a call or respond or sign a waiver, or I didn't know until finally I'd had enough of the trash piling up, and they were like, yeah, your account's flagged. And at first she said, well, we needed to speak with you, and because you know that you have options like to remove the dog from the premises and sign a waiver that the dog will, you know, or, and I finally just said, that's not my dog. That is not my dog, and that dog shouldn't be on the premises, especially if it's going to bite people. That's not a thing. So, obviously Charlie, Bear, and Skeet are the only dogs here now, and there's no aggression there. But you got bit, didn't you? Or you got chased?
No, the pit bull freaking came out of the house and was gonna fight me, and she called him off.
Really? They were both that aggressive?
Asia?
Yeah, well, just with new people that they didn't know. Anyone new coming in.
Yeah, I'm just out on the dog aggression. Like, I don't have dogs for protection. I have dogs to steal cookies and snuggle.
My dogs were literally trying to kick me and Colton both out of bed last night.
Yeah, Bear didn't. I came last night to pick Bear up, and he was on Dara's couch, and I had to wake him up, and he opened one eye, and he was like, it's
fine.
It's fine.
We have cookies here.
We just, yeah. He said, I'm just gonna tether this couch, and I said, you're not going home with me? Well, I'm leaving. Bye, Bear. And he was like, oh, okay, I probably better come.
You mean the big fluffy bed?
Yep. So, Hims is an alright doggo. Hims is my favorite.
Bear's like food and soft bed motivated.
Food and scratches.
Yeah.
So I don't have dogs for protection. I don't have dogs that should ever be human aggressive. Like, I try to buy dogs that don't have any protective value. Or find them in a dumpster that have no protective value. They just have total value.
I like mine. Like my cow dog.
Hims is a total bug. And he'll bury that big old fat head in your chest and just total.
My cow dog, whenever I take her places, she won't let like guys get like close to me at all. She's really protective over me.
Oh,
but like
that's a total bug.
anyone I walk up and I'm like, oh hey, she's like, we're gonna lick him.
She's like, we're gonna lick him. So
Yeah.
basically her brain and your brain are the same.
Yeah.
We're gonna lick you. You're a stranger.
Yeah.
We're gonna lick you.
She got
Come on,
stuck
Dara.
with me too.
Come on. So,
Sorry, I had to go get my mother's satellite.
it's
lined
okay.
out.
I had
Emergency
three.
situation.
I had 3 requests, and my first one was, as of recently, I've really lost my why, because this has turned into a money-making operation, and I feel like I had surrounded myself by a lot of people that were focused on the money aspects instead of the horse aspects of this thing. You know, obviously, with some of the recent vet bills, with some of the recent things there, I could tell that as far as vet day goes, it had turned into a factory. It had turned into a will of financial gain versus just common respect and decency. I feel like everything, not that I expect anyone to do anything for free. I think that it's the amount of respect shown between each other. Elizabeth had made it very clear that she wanted a raise. We can all testify to that, to where And then all of a sudden it was like, well, I felt like I needed to reintroduce spa days because she made it really clear that she wasn't making enough money. And the truth is, it's not that it's not enough money. It's just at the end of the day, I pay what I pay. And, if the Wild Tribe After Hours does grow and get bigger, there will be additional funds available to give a salary bonus in that month. Some of the issues with the gifts being sent was that all of the boxes that were left in the office should have been broke down and at least stacked or put towards the trash can. The majority of them had individual name on it. Does that make sense? Like Lane's boxes weren't in there. Jess's boxes were not opened yet because she hadn't been here. But to have bickering and fighting and very ugly text messages being sent about, I'm not cleaning up the fucking office, I'm not cleaning up those boxes. I'm just telling y'all, the reason I've put a stop, if it comes for the horses, I will break the boxes down and put them in the trash. But I'm not going to have staff and have people sending nice things to turn around and have the disrespect. Like it was gutting for me to read the text messages because the amount of disrespect in those text messages was gutting. Like, I think in that moment I was like, okay, well, people want to appreciate my staff and love my staff. So from this point forward, and you know what, I kind of hate it because now that
Sorry.
it's okay.
Every time he gets his back legs on it, he's like, it's eating.
You never even moved. Why did this?
Well, I've been watching him do it.
But that was, here's the thing. He's already mucked one person out. He's coming for us, and Jess is like, hi, fame.
Just let me love you.
Just let me give you cookies.
I would have braced the landing on the hard bridge.
Good. I mean, that's exactly, like Jess's brain, I swear, every time I see that TikTok where it's like, come on, brain, think up things. Come on, brain, be super smart. Come on, brain. I'm like,
oh no.
come on, brain.
When you're in that moment, you're like,
yeah, I need to leave.
you get this look on your face, and it's
Listen.
like you can always tell when she's in trouble. She gets the double chin.
I do this, like when my brain stops functioning, it's because I'm angry. See, my brain just self-combust, and I go, this thing right here just walks around going, come on, brain, let's think of things to do that are fun today, come on. And I'm like, Jess.
Yeah, it's a daily.
And then I'll look over and she's like, I brought glitter paint for the horse's feet, come look. And I'm like,
you can see him all from a mile out.
yeah, they're like walking around here like bling, 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 bling in the sun. And I'm like, oh, Jess has been here.
Can't see him on the live anymore.
That is literally an accurate.
She's the only
that's
one that'll
accurate.
take the idiot that you can't touch his feet, and she's over there putting
Jess is
glitter
like sitting
paint on
underneath him
it.
with no feet, with no shoes on, being like, "Hey, you guys, look at his feet!"
And we're like, "Get out of there, Jess!"
ignorance is bliss. Like when you're just ignorant to the ways of the world, you're just like.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jess, that's a copperhead, and she's like, his name is Copper.
No, remember we
I think
needed
he wants to
one.
kiss me. And I'm like,
You said head, so this is copper and this is head.
Yeah, you're like,
yeah.
oh my god, it's loving me.
I love it. Jess is like, it has a musical instrument and it's playing me a song. And I'm like, it's a rattlesnake. Get away. And she's like, it makes beautiful music.
Yes.
I mean, Dara and I are like, how
Get
do you
the
not
string. We need it.
get the string? I'm gonna make it a pet. And I'm like, God. And Dylan, this is a genuine, accurate representation every day, and I just have to remember that like ignorance is bliss for Jess, and she can do things none of us can because nothing hurts her. Because I think they're just like,
I get lucky.
I'm not kidding. We're like, Jess,
I think the
that one's
horses
not
know
broke.
sometimes.
She's got it tied up and underneath it putting glitter paint on it, and we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The one that gets me about Jess, because like there's horses that she sends me to go get because she's like, and
They're the biggest babies in the entire world.
The one that she's like, you can't get your hands on that thing.
Oh shit.
The
which
minute
one?
you touch that horse,
Which one is it?
Peanut. The
Oh,
minute you touch
he-
her,
hold
her
on.
feet get still.
listen,
comes
Jess.
for me. She screws me
Listen,
over.
listen. Horses go one of two ways with Jess. Either they recognize like her innocence and they're like, "I love you, little human."
yeah,
and-
they're
Come
like,
here,
"God
let me
damn
make
it."
this easy
or
for you.
they're like, "This fucking bitch is gonna let me fuck her world up, and she's still gonna give me a cookie." So,
And
I'm-
that's Peanut.
yeah, I have
That's
several.
Peanut.
I have several horses on this place that I would have thought are bomb-proof kid broke, and they try to fuck Jess's world up on a regular basis because they know, no matter how, like the smartest ones are like,
I feel like they just think like, all right, take the cookie and then run.
they're like, take the cookie, run, and kick her as you go by, and I'm
Yeah.
like, where? God, why? You've never kicked in your life, and Jess is like, it's okay. I think it was swatting a fly.
I think he just missed. He thought that other one was coming.
I'm like, Jesus. Jess is like, it's fine. It was not. It was, and I'm like, we have no words. So, one, we are no longer doing vet day. That's thing one, right? Two, at this point, if you still want to send gifts, honestly, they are greatly appreciated. Everybody that's here has no trouble breaking down their own boxes and carrying them off. I will tell you, though, that collectively something that was discussed, and I think that it was not their idea about monetary gain. It was a third party that was like, I just fucking, I'd rather have the money. Like, I don't, and to me, I was like, oh, so what? So let's back up from that. I don't think these three people feel like they would rather have the money. They're just very appreciative of anything anybody does. But in lieu of sending gifts, please send things to the horses. What really helps is if they can, the weather's getting better, if they can do some spa days when they do have time off, that is extra income for them. Basic spa days are $20. If you want like a full on spa day, it's $50. And I provide all of the products for those spa days out of my pocket. So what we ask, honestly, is if people would like to send grooming products, that's some of the best gifts. Because I'm going to tell you, there have been days that they've had like some spa days and they've needed to run to Tractor Supply to town to get stuff to do the spa day, because a lot of horses get a lot of bath and stuff. So some of our favorite products is if you go to CEP, which is Complete Equine Performance. We love their main event serum and their showstopper spray. Those two products are our favorite. They're very cost effective. The main addiction is amazing. So it is, I love that horse. Yes, he has a mustache.
He has a mustache.
He's a caretaker.
Yeah.
He's a caretaker, and also he's supposed to be half Berkshire Curly and half quarter horse.
The curly came out in the mustache.
How old is he? He's supposed to be five, in case y'all didn't.
He's like, damn it, we don't need to know.
You think? Let me see.
I need to get my fuzzy pants off.
Don't do it in front of the camera.
Well, I'm wearing them. See?
I said don't do it in front of the camera.
No, it's
If you take your fuzzy pants off, you're going to be
I know.
down to
I
your...
have to go back in, but I just got to get a layer off right now.
Well, get a layer off. But don't take your fuzzy pants off.
They're about to come with them.
An
You'll be
older
down to
lady
your
had
skibbies or your birthday suit. One of
Jesus
the two.
Christ, I turned around and Jess has no pants on, and what happened? I leave
stripping
for
for
1 minute,
everyone.
and I leave for 1 minute.
How old is he?
6. Coming. I mean, his 5-year-old
His
tooth
butt.
is in, but he doesn't have the 7-year-old dip yet. So, I mean, he's not 7 yet.
Woo!
He said, don't touch my special parts.
Some fucking shit happens around here, you guys. Some fucking shit happens. All I know is Dylan just almost... Dylan, let's keep our head on our body. You just almost got your head kicked off,
went for
son.
the
Both back
weenie.
feet kicked. Don't touch that.
Why did you go for the weenie?
The truth is, if he wanted to kick him, he could have.
Off of his stomach.
Off of
If-
his girth.
An older lady had a quarter horse mare, and she loved her, and she was getting older, and she always wanted a Berkshire Curly, so she had semen from a Berkshire Curly shipped in, and she bred her mare to this Curly. She gets this. He's now coming 6 years old this summer, and like this is all he knows.
Beautiful, though.
Listen. Her little note says, I am 82 years old and I have done everything I can. And at this point, I'm just no longer able to. So I think she probably halter broke him.
Imagine when he gets like.
No.
Wasn't Lane on top of him yesterday?
He rode through the ring. So, I mean, somebody's rode. But, I mean, I think it might have been a cell barn job.
Gotcha.
Look at him lick his lips and try to lick you. He's like, this is great.
Like, so what are we getting now?
When I
What's
went
over
and
there?
got him, he was just like, everybody else is tearing ass, and he's like,
Hi. Take me to your leader.
I went down there expecting it to be,
He knows not. I mean, he just doesn't. That's the bad thing is like he's such a good boy and he's so beautiful. And I have a customer out there that's going to die for this thing, I'm sure, but it needs to just be a little bit better broke.
and we're not sneak peeking him either.
He is the most juicy, beautiful thing on this
He
property.
is. He is. That's what I'm saying. When his
Is he not-
apples come out more, he's gonna be freaking.
He looks like a cross between. Do you guys remember Smoke?
Mm-hmm.
Gunsmoke?
Yep.
No.
He was that color, but he had a dropped hip, like a hip that got hurt at the cell barn. He reminds me of a cross between if you took Pixie D stripper,
Yeah.
and Smoke and you bred him, you'd get this. So he's like half Pixie. Doesn't he kind of have that same like head and eye and demeanor as Pixie, the Frisian you found me?
Oh, yeah.
When are you gonna get her broke for me, Dylan?
You keeping her?
She's still fucking here and she's so beautiful.
Well, she's learned to climb the fence with the others, so she fits in
She
great.
fits in great with the Frisians. She's learned to climb out. Oh, he said.
He's like,
I love that he licks his lip and looks to you for comfort. Like that's when you know that it's not a meanness. Like he's
I'm
not.
comfortable, but please
There ain't
help me.
nothing mean in his body.
Did you love that look on his?
Yeah.
Dylan, help me. Did you? He
He
said.
was like, can you help me or pet me or something?
Did you realize that this has me?
Hey, darling. what
But
are you
look,
doing?
he wants to come to Dylan for comfort so bad. At least you're his safe space. The only bad thing about that is I think he'll muck you out on accident.
And not even mean to.
Aw, what a good boy.
This is the part of our day that you guys don't really get to see because I don't know. I feel like I video the horses and like there's so much joy here normally. Like we love the horses. My staff currently really loves the horses. We love this. Like we find the good in all of them.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I asked you guys, why do you work here? What are your whys? I want to hear them from y'all. I know mine.
Well, I mean, same as like when I came here, because I love the horses and seeing them all, how they come in and how they leave. The
Yeah,
changes.
the
and
changes.
learning. I've learned so much since I've been here.
So you've been here a while and your why is because of the horses.
Yeah.
That's
It
mine.
stayed the same.
What's your why? You love the horses. So
I
yeah,
get to mess with such a wide
variety.
I mean,
I
don't
feel
get
that.
me wrong. I love barrel horses, but I mean, I like and I get educated in.
Everything.
Well, I mean, horses educate you themselves. I
They
mean,
do.
that's
Yeah.
They do. So for me, I grew up my entire life with horses. My dad trains race horses. My dad won the All-American, but like I never got to enjoy horses. And when I was little, we lived in El Paso, Texas in a trailer park. It was like a little like subdivision, but of single wide trailers that had yards. So it was like not the hood, but it was like the bougiest you could be for single wide trailers. You know, my mom is very OCD and very clean. And
Marlon brought those to you.
I wondered what the hell these were.
I ate one of your macaroons.
I'm okay with that. Here, you will love that. Where's the jar of macaroons? I love him. I
Where's the
genuinely
jar
love-
of macaroons,
They're in
Jess?
They're in there.
So,
I thought they were
It's
fake,
so
like
good.
erasers or something.
Marlon always brings.
Let me see.
The
Brings-
good.
So, what I will tell you is that when I met my husband,
Is that a
horses were
cannoli?
still a.
Type thing.
Yeah, eat it. It's delicious.
What is that?
Listen, it was very much so. Take a bite. Tell us if it's good. It's been
Bear
wrapped up
said,
in there.
Mom said, take a bite.
Oh, no. I've never seen nothing like that.
Bear.
Bear's like, I'll let you know how it tastes.
I
Yeah,
love
don't
Ferrero
know.
Rochers.
What is that? That has glitter on it.
It's beautiful. It's delicious. I'm telling you. But I do want the macaroons. So,
okay, I'm gonna get them.
well, I'll be in there in a minute. I'm going to go rummage anyway and start to clean up. So here's the thing. For me, my why has a lot to do with my own childhood needs, for lack of better words. I remember growing up in El Paso, going to school, and my mom will tell you this story. I only got to ride horses when I was little if I went out to the barn with my dad at the racetrack and I got to sit on his pony horse. I didn't get to ride. We didn't have a farm. My dad went racetrack to racetrack.
Oh yeah, do you see it?
She said that she had done everything that she could, Dylan. I mean, she was 82 years old. He what?
Athena does that already too, like switching back on the lunge line so quick.
So, I remember when I was a kid just wanting like a Frisian, or I finally rode my bicycle. I was in the first grade. I was Marley's age. I was in first grade, and I rode my bicycle down the road and around the corner. I mean, honestly, it was as far as from here to the highway, that far. There was a polo facility. And when I got down there, the lady that at the polo facility, her husband was a doctor, and they were so nice. And she said, you know, I jump. And she started letting me come over on weekends and just ride horses. I mean, she would just let me, you know what I mean? She would just let me ride every weekend. And she had an older Arabian mare that jumped. And then a lady moved in next door to them that gave some lessons. And so until I was in the 5th or 6th grade, the only time I ever got to ride is when I would ride my bicycle down there and ride someone else's horse that they let me ride. And her husband was a doctor, and she was just very, very nice to me. And her son is my age, and he is now a neurosurgeon, and they still live in El Paso, and they are fantastic people. Her son plays polo. She still jumps. She actually does dressage more than anything now. And I don't think I've ever given them enough credit, because I think that the only time in my life that horses were not a financial gain situation were those people. Does that make sense? So for me, the only riding I got to do was when I would ride my bicycle down there. So then my dad, when I was in the 6th grade, bought a facility in Oklahoma, and now we have a farm. Like, we have our own farm. But even then, the only horses I ever got were either a pony horse or a, does that make sense? Like, that year, because we were moving to Oklahoma, my dad went to Joe Rio's sell barn and bought from the kill pen, from the killers, he bought a little black and white pony, and I was in the 5th grade at this time, fixing to be in 6th grade. He bought Rocky, so that when we moved, we brought him with us. And back then, paints, especially in that part of the country, were like really rare. Like,
Do you know I can't ever remember Dad not having a horse or not riding?
your dad? My dad always had a good pony. My dad used to always go to the sell barn and buy ponies and take them, but that was the next thing. My dad, from the time that I was Tinley's age, would take me out to the Rio Grande Classic sell barn, and my dad would buy horses like this that were beautiful, that really didn't have a lot going on, and my dad would turn him into a pony, and he would spend like 6 months like completely rehabilitating it, and then my dad would resell it because we had to pay our bills and we were broke. Right. So my dad would turn around and resell it once it was like a good pony horse for like, back then $5,000-6,000 was a lot. Hey, one of the water tanks is empty. I can hear it. I just know because the horse is pawing it, so that it probably wasn't empty, and they probably have pawed it over. You know what I mean? And now it's...
Oh, that one out there paws real bad. If it drops down this much and it can get its
feet in there.
Yeah.
I have, yeah. We have, Pedro used to be like that when he was in this pen.
And that sucker will drink, and then he'll tip the water to keep anything else from drinking.
Oh, that mare. That's not a surprise. So for me, horses have always been a necessity. Like, not like a, oh, it was a hobby, or, oh, I got to love them. It was always a financial gain situation, period. So when we moved to Oklahoma, of course, everybody barrel raced, so I dabbled in that. But when I was in high school, I went to work for Equiglobe, and they imported warm bloods, and I got to be introduced to a whole new world. But for me, this is my first opportunity, honestly, that I have the money to just have horses and enjoy them and love them. And it's sad because I have stressed myself out and pushed myself to the point that I have no free time. I have zero free time. Today is the most I've got to sit down and enjoy this place.
After my day yesterday, I'm enjoying sitting down and just...
Honestly, and they will both tell you, this is the first time since either of them have worked here. I am just sitting here enjoying Dylan, this place, talking to you guys. This is the first honest breath. Like I'm telling you, today change has been implemented to where this is more of what I'm going to do. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Right.
Every day. I'm going to show up out here and just enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy. I love everything. I love that we have a Berkshire Curly. I would have never thought in my childhood brain that that would be available to me. And I love him. He's half quarter horse. He's the coolest fucking horse I've ever seen in my life. And I value him. I value him not only for his breed, but he's really green. And I value his personality. I love him, Dylan. I love every time he looks at you for safety and comfort. Like, he's just a good-hearted, good boy. And Dylan will be lunging him and something will spook him and he'll be like, Dylan,
I need some titty.
can you help me? Yeah, he does need some titty. And I want to get back to that. I want to stop feeling like horses are a monetary gain, and I don't want people around me that's how they feel. If you're not satisfied with your salary here and you're not satisfied with your coworkers and you can't stay within the boundaries that I'm setting, you're just not welcome here. If horses are not your passion first and the money is secondary, you're not coming here. The vet, everybody, we will just haul them. Here's the thing, Dylan, I already told him that I thought we could make a shuttle opportunity. We'll find the right vet. Dylan can pick up. We can help him load. I'll ride with him, go to the vet, get all of the Coggins and health certificates, and it's still going to be cheaper for my customers than what they're currently paying, because the Coggins and health certificate are $50. And Dylan, I mean, if you took 6 horses, it would be what, maybe $100 a piece to run them if we went to Lindell? $600. I mean, that's $600 you make in a day to run 6 horses to Lindell. And they charge what, $25 for Coggins, and I think a Coggins health certificate package is $45. And they do same day Coggins there. They are the lab.
1 hour Coggins.
So I mean, we could just pick a day and you run, and if you had to go 2 days a week, my biggest thing is, I've told Dylan this already about 15 times, Marley is not going to be 7 forever.
Right.
Dylan and I have a child together.
No, you do not.
We do. I took her to dinner last night.
Co-ownership.
That's my kid. I took her last night. Listen, last night we went to dinner and Marley and I picked the nails. Her and Tinley are going to Ari.
Still talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan and I have a daughter together. She's 7.
She can't wait to get her nails done.
I know. Listen, that kid.
Dylan's
We
like,
need to take her barrel racing.
oh.
This is too early to start this big of expense.
You're going to have to do a lot of vet shuttling. Listen, that kid. Last night when I left there, I just wanted to just be like, oh, okay, can we have joint custody? She's staying the night at my house this weekend. My daughter loves her. And when I tell you that I love that child, I love her as much as I love any kid. I love her like she's my own.
Let me tell you what she did the other day. Her and Jacob show up out here, and I'm like, where's my kiddo? Jacob's like, or Tara's like,
oh my God, Jacob, we forgot Tinley.
Jacob's like, I took her to my mom.
Jacob is like, I'm not that fucking stupid. Don't ever think for 1 second I would forget my kid. I was going to scare her when she was like, where's Tinley? Oh God, I forgot her. Jacob was like, I didn't fucking forget her. She's at my mom's. But, man. But I think that Marley, and honestly, her and Tinley, they have dimples and the blonde hair. Nobody would not know that wasn't my kid. I'm going to need DNA. I'm requesting DNA.
This is my old Arabian mare.
I know.
Is that
you
one
told
of
me about
those,
her.
we know who the father is, but who the mother is questionable?
It's for sure mine. It's for sure. I think that somebody else is claiming my kid. I love that child. I'm like, she's coming out this weekend, and we're going to try to get the cart hooked up so Dylan can give us a cart ride around. And
Donut shop.
eventually, we'll get, I think, once we get Thor going, man, when he hits that trot, we could get to the donut shop
Y'all
like an
could go
Amish.
to Walmart with
Yeah.
his trot.
He has like a pacer trot. Like, I don't know that they didn't sneak a little standard bred in the wood pile there. He can get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's got like a twin turbo in there.
When I tell you that I woke up this morning and normally But I prayed about this, and I thought about this, and I saged everything. I honestly swear to God felt in my heart this morning more peace.
Did you really sage last night?
Uh-huh.
I did too.
You had to.
I found a pretty rock.
I
Does that count?
saged. I saged my house, myself. I just am at peace with whatever direction this takes from here on out. I am letting go. I am not controlling it. We're going to clean everything up. Jacob's not bringing horses here. If you see anything on the Facebook, he can bring it here if you want to purchase it. My husband shipped a load of horses to slaughter last night. Normally, I would not have slept. I would have been sick to my stomach. I would have felt like I failed those horses. I would have felt like we should have been able to do more for them. And I feel like right now, I need to worry about my mental health, Jess's mental health, Dara's mental health.
There's no helping my mental health.
I'm a walking fucking crisis. Will you do me a favor?
What?
We need to get Giant Mace's coat off.
Oh, that ain't no problem.
He's been in the barn, so he was in the shade, but now that he's wanting to come out. And as far as the hate group goes, this is something I am going to say. Jess, because I want them to understand. If you send a screenshot to me or to her, you're not doing us a favor. In fact, fuck you. Because we don't see it. We intentionally they don't have a clue what goes on here. Jess's mental breakdown partially came from the fact that she tried to defend her job and her work ethic and how she worked here with those people who were claiming those things, and that if they happened, you have to remember that it wasn't because I said it was okay or because it was okay. It was because those people were so lazy that they just wanted a paycheck and were not doing this. And the fact that people that are online would... My first thing is if what you're saying is true, why did you work there for 7 months?
Yeah.
If it's an
literally.
abusive, bad situation for the animals, why did you work there for 7 months? No, you worked there collecting a check, and it didn't become a bad situation until Tara went in the hospital and you took advantage, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
And the fact that somebody like that is celebrated speaks volumes on those people's character, and it's proof to me that they don't care what the truth is. They only care about having something negative to say. But I had an intuitive healer, kind of psychic, mention to me that everything is energy. This facility is energy. We are, at the end of the day, not beings. We are energy. And we need to start being very focused on the energy. I want the energy here to always be positive. I want Jess to know that whatever it is, I hope that from this last situation, she's learned you can talk to me and trust me. And here's the deal. There's no judgment. I am a walking mental health crisis. I get it. And if you need a break, take it. But I also want for people to learn you don't have to quit your job, freak out, treat people bad. There are bad moments in everything. There are things that happen in everything. And I want to cancel culture. I think that we shouldn't cancel each other. We need to set boundaries. And as long as we can get to where we get back within those boundaries of respect and love and vibrating on a very peaceful level, that's where we need to stay. And there can't be a lot of chaos. And if you create a lot of chaos, or you keep bringing chaos to this property in the form of men that come and go, and there's drama every night and people driving by and restraining orders, we're just not doing any of that anymore. Everybody that comes on this property is going to vow that their why is the horses, and everything outside of the horses can't happen because I emotionally and energetically can't take it. I can't take your turmoil. I attract drama naturally, and I need to start to avoid that, because I have been a walking punching bag for 9 years in the industry of everybody that ever felt like they needed to say something negative. It's been okay for them to say it to me. And then I started standing up for myself, and then it just almost made it worse, because then instead of it just being an altercation between me and one person, it started involving the public. And I just want from this day forward for everybody's goal here to remember that everything on this property is energy. And if the energy is chaotic, what can we do to bring the energy back to neutral? Every relationship is that. And if I have chaotic customers, I had a girl buy a horse. The horse is fantastic. The horse cut its knee. She got mad, didn't want the horse. That chaotic energy is not welcome here. And I'm not going to feel bad that I am not going to cater to other people's chaos. I am not, and you know what? I will always be very open about that. If you are a chaotic person, a negative person, you bring negative energy into a situation, we are going to treat you. I tell everybody, if you've ever seen the Purge TikTok, I'm going to meet you with the same energy that you met me with. That is the truth. And I'm working on trying to learn how to diffuse those situations. And sometimes you can't diffuse those situations. Sometimes the other party is just too chaotic, too angry,
can't hear the
too
problem.
too accusatory. That girl just wanted to accuse us of hurting her horse. First of all, nobody went out there with a knife and maliciously cut your horse. It actually was running around with another horse, and they were bucking and kicking, and they jumped over the water tank, and we don't know if when they jumped over it, if she hit her knee or if the other horse clipped her with a hoof, and we don't know because they were just, it was
Livestock.
their livestock, and it was early, and the accusation, the accusatory tone of you should have done this and you should have done that, we're not going to have that. And if you are that kind of human, we are literally not tolerating that from you. You will not disrespect my staff or I like that, and we are not going to entertain, because if you feel like you need to walk away from this video and talk about that, you are no better than the person that did that. So the people who have to see what's in the exposed group and the ugly truth or whatever the fuck it's called, we don't even want you. Like, that group is over there. If you feel like you need to discuss us in a negative manner, we know it's happening. It's a very hurtful thing. It has affected our mental health. I don't know about Dara, because I know that Dara said that she didn't know about it, and then when she found it, that was it for her. She physically couldn't do that to herself because she was so angry and hurt. Right? Like, so you just don't. Jess?
I have no need to, what anybody says about me, this is my opinion. It is none of my business what anybody has to say about me.
And what I have to do is continue to surround myself by that, and by somebody who's equally as defensive. And Jess and I both are very weak-minded in a way, because we internalize it.
We have to be able to, like, no, that's not happening.
That's not
You're
happening,
taking
and please
care
stop
of
saying that
these.
about
Yeah.
us. Like, you're lying. Why are you lying about us? Like, but at the end of the day, I didn't ask to be Facebook famous. I didn't ask to have hundreds of thousands of people. My Facebook reached 8.8 million individual people last month, and it was not allowing people to like or follow the page due to the page being reported over and over and over and over and over and over. And they never took our page down, and they didn't monetize strike me because they didn't find anything wrong with my content. But that group was reporting our page, and what it's going to end up happening is they're just going to eventually, after that, it'll make it to where for like 6 months nothing that's reported can be taken down, because Facebook will not waste time on it. And then 6 months it'll turn over again. So that's a beautiful thing. But I just want for you guys to know, we just can't, we don't, Tuesdays is really a hard day. Like, nobody looks forward to vet day. Nobody wants to do it. Everybody does it because we do it for the horses, but we just need to do it in a way that the energy that flows into vet day is positive. Like, we want for whatever vet that we pick moving forward to accept these horses for where they are, and to do everything they can to move them into the next home with as much love and kindness and care. And that's just where I am in my spiritual journey. Have I always felt this way? No. Have I always felt like horses needed to be treated with that much love and respect? No. I didn't know better, but I am at the point now to where I know that everything is energy, and I want all the energy poured out of me into this facility, into my staff, into these horses, from us, and for all of the love from you guys to be poured back into us, to all be positive. I want for you guys to watch my content, and I want there to be entertainment and happiness. I don't want it to be entertainment at the shock value, or entertainment at the,
Like, angry for us because of the stupid people.
yeah, like I don't want, my goal from right now over the next 90 days is to just focus solely on pouring positive energy out and only accepting positive energy back in. And then we'll reevaluate again in 90 days. But for right now, we are shutting the door to any outside energy. It's not welcome here. We're not welcoming the trash being left here on us. We're not welcoming any disrespect. We are raising our standards of how people are going to treat us. We're raising the standards of how people are going to talk about us. And it's an internal thing. you still might be out there talking bad about us, but the only difference between before and now is there is a boundary set that you're not welcome within. So you can hate from outside of the club. You're just no longer inside.
Oh, it's like that one song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love
What
it.
I was gonna say a while
That's my
ago
best
is
friend's
it's none
favorite
of my business what anybody says about
No.
me until they have balls enough to walk up and say it in my face. Then it's my business.
Even then, I don't feel that way. Honestly, I'm at such a place of peace right now that even if you said it to my face, I just know that you have some form of an internal struggle going on that's really, I can't help that.
Yeah,
Like,
and
if you-
something
if you-
stupid will come out of my mouth like, you
Me
just
too.
need a hug, right?
Like
you
me,
need to go find somebody to give you a hug because I'm not a hugger.
Nope, I don't. So I'm at a really weird shift in my life right now. But I have gone down a spiritual journey, and the people that I am enlisting on that side of my life are really cool individuals who have a very different outlook. Yeah, he's the kindest big guy in the world, but he's just he's
Look
just.
at him.
I know he
We'll trade for the fluffy dog.
No, we will not. Shut up.
I'll trade you Charlie for him.
Hush.
Hey,
We just got him back.
You pick up after Charlie and I'll ride the horse.
I think that yesterday when Mosquito got dumped back out in the road and came running up, that in Jess instilled in her heart that she was right all along.
Well, I knew the whole way, because I told you too, like,
There's no way
we
that
wouldn't know. We wouldn't know. There's no way we would know. That's what happened. There's just no way we would know. And, like, I had a feeling. But if there's no proof, how can I be like, I know,
So she said, I know that, and she said, so when she left here in her mind, she said, I know that dog got dumped or something happened to him, but if he was dumped, maybe somebody has seen him.
Yeah.
So she started putting out pictures and like if anybody's at least just seen him, and he is like almost 40 miles from here.
Yeah.
He didn't make it 40 miles from here. And he is unfortunately in Rusk, Texas, which is
With his collar and tags taken off too. And his collar was
His
a special one with a lock on it.
Yeah, collar, tags missing. His coat was off. When he left here, he had a collar, tags, and a coat. And when he was found, he was bare naked. Poor Charlie was
have
naked.
a coat,
I don't
did
think he got mugged. No, he had the Carhartt one.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, the green one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Last time when I saw Charlie, he was coated up.
I thought she had taken his coat off of him.
The blue one and
Yeah,
put the
no.
Carhartt on.
I washed them both, but I put the Carhartt on him right before. Like, the day
He was
before
tuddled
his
up,
incident.
manned up. That's why when he went missing, that's the only thing that I thought about the neighbors shooting him. And I didn't know how to walk over to them and be like, did you shoot our dog? They were probably going to say yes or no, and I didn't know how I would react. So I honestly never walked over when I was told he got shot by the neighbors. I just thought, I know. Dylan is like, he's so nice. He's amazing. He's the best. Oh.
I don't. That wasn't a green backup. I'm just saying.
She is 82 years old, and she said that she had done as much as she could, and that at this point in her stage of her life,
Well,
she
we need
wishes-
her out here.
Yeah.
If this is as much as she could have done, I mean, it's pretty badass.
Let's face it, she a pro.
Yeah.
Real thing.
Ma'am, can we please hire you?
She did a good job.
We'll just keep Dylan until Miss Lady shows up.
We're
Man,
gonna,
look at that
we're only gonna
give.
keep Dylan until this lady shows up, and we're gonna let this 82-year-old lady train. Oh,
Yeah.
Dylan! Everything he did, he was like, "Hi, best friend." Dylan touched his
Like someone
pee-pee,
started him really
and you could
right.
tell that he wasn't expecting it, and he like popped up in the back, and I
Whoa,
thought,
buddy!
and that's just proof that a very, very good horse with no ill will can accidentally hurt you. Like, if he wanted to kick Dylan, he could have. I think when Dylan, he had dirt on his sheath, and Dylan like reached back there to get the dirt off of him because
He
was
wasn't
getting
even
that-
back
that's what he
there.
was doing?
He
Yeah.
was up there, up by his front legs,
He
and
had
he
moved
said he
back.
was in his girth area.
I just knew that he was doing that.
He
the
was
horse
rubbing that dirt right there where his girth was gonna go, and
Yeah. Rubbing
I
that
think
dirt.
that he didn't want you
Oh.
to touch his noodle. He said, Dylan, what'd you say?
I didn't want to touch it.
I didn't want to touch his noodle. Sometimes the horses will come through the pool noodles. and
Oh,
they will say,
man.
His head. I love it.
Dylan, is that the horse you're going to show at Shot?
Seriously.
This is pretty amazing, and I know you guys are like dying. You guys,
Yeah.
Nope, no sneak peek. Don't do it. No.
God damn it, Tara.
You won't let us keep no secrets.
He is.
We're gonna have to
Oh my
bootleg
God.
one out of the catch pen and hide it on the back 40s that she don't even know about.
Yeah, you sure are.
Better be like a bad one though, because if we're gonna hide it, like I can't know about it then. 'Cause it ends
You
up
can
being
tell
better
that she
than
wrote English. She said, the lady said she wrote English, and you can tell.
And then everyone.
She wrote English, and like you can tell, you look like you're headed into like the dressage Grand Prix ring. Dylan, I think we can find you a wife off of this. Fantastic.
We start OnlyFans.
All right, you guys. I am headed to do some other stuff and things. Goodbye. I love it. I love it. Dylan, I think we could screen record this and put this on your Tinder. Plenty of fish. I'm really going to need you to back off the dating sites because now Marley and I are going to have to, we're going to have to pick the woman that you bring into our life. Yeah. We're going to have to pick the woman that you bring into our life. I'm going to need you to calm down. Look, he's like, why? Oh my gosh. So his Coggin said he's 5, and he is a Berkshire Curly crossed with a Foundation Quarter Horse. And the lady wrote English, and her mare that she had, what'd he say?
10 grand.
10 grand, Dylan said. Come show us this mustache, Dylan. His little stash. Look at his mustache. Can we see it? Can we see it? He said, you smell like... No. What is it? You smell like cheese and beef. He is so fantastic. Dylan is in love. This is why Dylan doesn't have a wife, because he loves horses. He had the horse problem. That trot is like the chef's kiss, though, of trots. This has been here the whole time that you've been supposed to been working with it, and you've been like putting him off. But for just being such a young good boy, like, I love it. All right, you guys, we're going to let Dylan finish working with him, and we're going to get on with our day. We'll be back later. That reach is insane. Like, when his trot and that reach right there, let me just tell you, that horse has, like, the coolest, like, extension that I've ever seen in, like, a crossbred. I mean, that extension is fantastic. He is, like, a playful spirit, isn't he? He has, like, a lot of personality and a ton of play. Like, he is a very, like, playful, very humanized character of a horse. Like, somebody has poured a lot of love and time, because he has a very large amount of... He has, like, some humanized characteristics. Like, he's very playful. He's, like, a very playful horse. All right, you guys. We will be back. Oh, I love it. All right. Goodbye.